Muy buenas tardes.
Good afternoon. We're going to now begin with the last session of this animation day from the region of Madrid 2023, and we're going to start with a project that got the support of the Regional Ministry of Culture, not only because it has one of the most celebrated directors in Spain, but also because Victor, as he's going to tell us, is leading a very special project that for the first time he has created. He's promoting with his producing company with his partner Carlos. So I think it has special merit because he's going to show that he is a cinematographer that is even more surprising than we thought. So as you can see, the progression is different because with Víctor Monigote, there's always surprises. Thank you. Thank you, Manuel. Good afternoon. Welcome. I would like to thank Manuel Cristobal for all of the support that he has given to One, because it would not have been possible without him. He has been shedding light along the way for a very long time, and I would like to thank the region of Madrid for this day and Next Lab for all the support and subsidies and everything that they're doing. Without them, that we wouldn't have been able to work on this short film, because we did it with lots of suffering, little money, and lots of people. I will be telling you all about it. So for now, before I begin, I wanted to introduce myself in case you don't know me, and if you don't know me, and if you know me, I'm so sorry, but I'm going to introduce me anyways. And I'm going to show you a reel because it will have a lot to do with what we are going to be telling later on.
Tiene virus.
No, there are no viruses here.
Bien.
Okay. I showed this reel from our producing company because without Carlos, we would not have been able to launch one or any of the projects that we have launched, because he's been the promoter. He's the one who convinced me to stop working for others and start working on my own ideas, on my own projects. And I don't know if you've looked at it, but there are lots of different styles along my life due to my professional trajectory, and it has a lot to do with what we're going to be saying about the style of this production company One. So the first thing that we need to say is that is that there's a reason why one exists. So one is a story that I gave birth to 26 years ago, and I'm saying exactly 26 years because I have discovered during the time I was moving from one place to another the registry documents. So during the years it was going to be a comic book, and it was impossible to do a comic book because I needed to eat and I had just had a daughter and I couldn't do both things at the same time. Then it became a real image movie. I wanted Javier Bardem to be doing it. I was thinking of naked Javier Bardem doing the prehistoric man, muscle man, and then now he could only be the grandfather, shaman in the tribe. Then I thought that it could be a comic book, but only in chapters, as you would Warner. Well, superheroes, Marvel, you know. And then it went back to the drawer because 2 months after working on the project, the publishing house filed for chapter 11. Then I used it again because a very well-known animation company was interested in launching this feature film project. And when we were negotiating it, we had another problem, and the Croods, you know, I don't know if you know the Croods, but they said, Monigote, we can't be doing a movie now when these prehistoric drawings are being launched. And then I associated with my childhood friend Carlos, and we decided to work together. And we said, let's just do it. We'll do it on our own. That's it. Because what I don't want is to be in the nursing home when I'm wearing nappies and looking through the window and saying, I would have loved to do this, I would have loved to create this movie. So let's just do it, and we might be disappointed with the result, but we have to do it. So that is why we're here. When we set up another idea recovering the story, because I, as well as my partner, loved the story. And
Espera, que es que tengo que mirar aquí porque es que no.
sorry, I have to come here because I can't remember everything that I need to say. So we realized that we needed to work on one, and to sell the story, to sell the feature film, we needed to know how much it was going to cost us and to find the visual style that the producing company needed to have, because it's based in my style, but I have lots: cartoon, adult, 80s reference, gore, bloody. I've worked for Disney for 10 years, so my body's filled with influences, even musical influences and acting influence, because I've worked for the Peter Sellers for a very long time. So I have lots of different ideas, and I had to show that in this producing company. So looking for that style, because we wanted it to be adult and hard, we chose
Basarlo un poco en el cómic.
so we needed to be based on the 80s and the drawings that I like and bet on it. This story that I'm telling you about, this feature film, is because I've always liked prehistoric stories, and I love the inside of the human beings, our mind, our brain. Why do we act this way or that way? Are we good? Are we bad? Are we born good? Are we born bad? And it all depends on the circumstances in the end. I was talking to people who worked in Atapuerca 19 years ago during some interviews that I did, and they told me something that I thought was very interesting, which is because what really interested me was when not just to have real data and when fire was first used and so on, but when did man start evolving its intelligence, its love, its evil side of things? And they told me something very interesting, because we all have a gene. We all have a gene that pushes us to preserving the species. It's very difficult for us to kill someone, but if someone rapes our daughter or kill our parents and they leave you alone in a room with that person, 10 years later, it's very, very difficult for you to use a knife and plunge it in their heart as a vengeance, because even if you hate that person who was a murderer, we all have a gene that prevents you from killing other human beings or other peers. So when did we start killing? When we could kill from a distance. So when you could start arrows and throw stones, when you didn't look into the other person's eye, that's when you started killing. And in the trenches, in the First War trenches, you know, Germans against English, against French, and so on, they spent such a long time in the trenches shooting at each other that in the end they became friends. So here you have a cigarette, or could you send this letter to my wife? Are you hungry? Because you had certain times when they would would stop and they say, so that they could retrieve their death, they would talk to each other and they became friends in just a few months, because suffering makes you friends. It's like a big brother during the battle. So you said they would say fire, and they would shoot to the air, but they wouldn't want to shoot their friends. So the governments would rotate the trenches so that you wouldn't shoot your friends. So you would stay 2 months here, and then you would be sent to the north. And those who were in the north would go back to the south, so that you would be shooting at people you didn't know, because that's the critical element. You needed to shoot at someone you didn't know. So we created this story, the story of feature film, but we needed to know how to do it, if the style was something that could be feasible, and if it was profitable, if we could launch it. So as a matter of fact, based on this thing that I just showed you with different styles, our producing company wanted to feel free. We didn't want to take anything for granted. So just like humankind, there isn't good people or evil people, but everything depends on the circumstances you find yourself in, or the lens through which you look at things. And based on that, we wanted to have ideas and scripts where there were no evil characters or good characters that would simply change all through the story. We wanted it to be quite real. We like that. And on the other hand, in the artistic style, in our storytelling, we want to use that. We wanted to use 1D, 2D, real image, 3D. Actually, as a director, as an artist, I want to use whatever I want to use. I want to use photography if I wish to, or video, 3D, 2D. We've even have invented 1D. I mean, it's not that we invented it, but it's just images. It's something that is already invented, but we have reformulated it to give it a very spectacular touch that is amazing when you look at it in the short. And it's just to tell this part of the short, and it's very, very profitable. Always thinking about art and as cheap as possible. So that's how we work, and with that freedom, we tell whatever story we want to tell. I'm going to drink a bit because I am talking so very fast that I can't, that my mouth is a bit dry. Am I going too fast? So I'm going slowly. Okay, then. So, based on what I just told you about the prehistoric times and how I wanted to tell this story, we took it to that time in history, because we wanted to talk about things that human beings have. I mean, we can choose. We have the great power of choice and freedom to behave this or that way. We are not born in a certain way. We choose how we want to be in life, and we all have that power to help someone or say, nah, I wouldn't, I'd rather wouldn't. And you can walk down the street and see a poor person and give them money, or help them and give them a job. It's not about something falling off from the sky that decides whether you're a good guy or not. You decide if you're a good guy or not. And that led us to thinking about what sort of projects we wanted to do at Autumn, so that we could have some sort of legacy. And I wouldn't say a legacy to humankind or other generations. It's a bit too much, but maybe it could help you help your neighbor, your son. What sort of emotional legacy you want to give those you love, you love. And maybe my life is not that bad, or maybe your life is better, you're happier when you watch one of our projects, or maybe you decide to help someone, and that is wonderful. So if some people will open their eyes and will start functioning in a different way, but then we'll be so happy. I mean, that's why we're doing these things. We just want to shake consciences and hearts so that people react a different way. So what could we do? Well, we needed to research how much that movie would cost. Not only that movie, I had other projects in the drawer that I haven't worked on, because I've always been working for other people, third-party projects, giving my best. And obviously, I didn't have any responsibility because it wasn't my ideas, it wasn't my responsibility, and I was happy. But when I met with my partner, I thought that we needed to show some courage and start working so that one could be successful, as well as 8 or 9 other projects that we have in our portfolio, things that I have had there in a drawer for 20 years, plus other projects that have arisen with my project with Carlos. So we have all of these projects. How much will they cost me? How do we do them in 1D, 2D, 3D? How do we do it? And that is when we had to start thinking about it. So we were in contact with different studios, because we didn't want to set up a studio as such with 200 artists working for us, because that was amazing expenses that we could not cover. So we talked to studio friends from all over Spain, in the Canary Islands and so on. We wanted to do it in Madrid because we wanted for this to be a product from Madrid, the region of Madrid, but in the end we had to talk to other studios to try and do it with ABBA studios, with different friends, and in the end we had the problem that what we wanted to do required a pipeline that didn't have, because each studio has its own pipeline and they work on their own way. I mean, they're all similar, but they have specificities, and changing the pipeline was a bit chaotic because you had to do R&D work that took 4 to 5 months, and 4 or 5 months researching. That's a lot of money because you have to pay for the salaries, and we didn't have that, so we couldn't do that for free. Obviously, we have to work quite a bit. So in the end, we decided that we had to set up our own studio, and we had to do it on our own, create our short line, take all the references from one that we wanted to tell, reflect them in a wonderful, beautiful story that we have told, and from then onward, we would start doing some R&D and research, and we would do all of the things needed, and go through all of the suffering that was needed. And that is when Mr. Jorge Villa entered, the technical director, the third pillar in Ottom. He is the god of technology. He is a Blender professor, animator, a moderator. He does everything. So when you ask them, WhatsApp doesn't work, well, you have to do this and configure that and set up this. He's amazing. He is the god of technology. So when Jorge started working with us, we started understanding what to do, and we said, well, who are we going to hire? Because I was so at ease working for others. I would simply sign my contract. I would work for a year for someone, and that was it, and then I would go home. But in this case, it was different. I mean, I was entering deeper waters, and so we saw that now Jorge, he built an amazing bridge, a silver bridge, so that we wouldn't have to be too much in that deep water that I was referring to. And part of our team is here, so please, big round of applause for all of the one team. Thank you all for coming today. Thank you. They have come to really enjoy this day with all of you, and we have an exceptional team, and they have done everything that was needed, and without them it would have been impossible, because we have been a reduced team, a small team, and working lots of hours. We have not been able to sleep much. We have worked every day, every day of the week. My wife would bring me dinner at 11 in the evening, and he said, turn it off. And I said, no, I only have to do the shot. No, your dinner is getting cold. So all of our families have suffered this whole one process. And I'm telling you this so that you know that this is a profession where you need to be passionate about it. It's not just parties and enjoying things. No, you have to dedicate your hours and suffering, and sometimes you have to redo things and so on. So you have to really be passionate about this world and this profession. So we had it, and we finally have been able to create one. Why did we create this short film? Well, because we were looking for a style, and well, first of all, we created this script and this short film because about the prehistoric, I like the fact that you could tell basic things that were quite transparent, without cell phones, without cultural influences, without educational influences, or the government or the country you're from. It all makes you change, doesn't it? So I wanted to talk about a problem that we currently have, and we took it to prehistoric times because it was quite simple, and you can really show what is going on, and it's a way of opening people's eyes. And another reason why we do it was because I wanted to introduce a visual style that we have at Ottom. So it goes from 3D, 2D, 1D, illustration, music, craziness, everything. We wanted to be free, and we needed to find that style. We needed to do some technology to see what programs could help us, and it was actually quite difficult, especially in order to... Oh, that disappeared, didn't it? How did I do that? Oh, it's here. Oh. I'm actually going to do it this way. I'm going to take the water off, and I'm going to put all of my notes here, because in the end I'm going to say the same things, and I'm going to be retelling over and over again the same things if I don't do it this way. Okay, so So for that to happen, well, I talk to you and bore you to death so that you don't just see me. I'm going to be showing you a video, a long video where oh, oh, okay, I messed things up. So where is this? Carlos, where is it now? Below? Sorry for the chaos. That's life. I'll have to click here. Okay, there we are. So let's see, let's pray. Let's pray. Eureka.
¡Funciona! Bueno, mientras vemos esto, os puedo ir contando. No, si es para ponerlo de fondo. No apaguéis las luces porque entonces no veo un pimiento.
So I'm going to be talking at the same time, so don't turn all the lights out, otherwise I won't see anything. So whilst we are advancing, as you can see here, these are the first sketches I did for one. I was looking for a style, 1, 2 days. Then I went and did a lot of cartoon because I did a lot of cartoon. Other days I did more adult because I worked a lot of that. Types of texture, all sorts. I was researching, and we were continuing advancing all the technological things that we needed to do to find the style we were looking for. There was also, at the end, it was decided that we did a style with the 80s, with watercolors, a bit of blush, and it was hard to find it in the normal programs we had. So when Jorge joined us, he offered to work with Blender that I knew it already, and Blender really gave us wonderful things. Especially its great pencil that allowed us to draw in 3D on the character, having an outline, a profile that gave us lots of problems but also lots of happy moments. But anyway, so we managed to do that, and after researching with Blender all the time, we started working with Slab. They called us from the region of Madrid to be in this program that they were organizing, to work with the GUI program and the Oculus goggles. And it's wonderful. It's a great program, actually. I'll show you some videos in a minute when this finishes. I need to say that this is a wonderful program. It's fantastic for artists who do not know anything about technology. And for people who have a lot of intuition, they work very well with brushes, but they don't like a program full of buttons. So it was wonderful. I'm going to put it now. Hold on, one sec. Let me just change this.
Por ejemplo.
For instance, here you have an example. I want to show you this video where you can see how it works. As you can see, it's an environment, a 3D environment. You put the goggles and you're in it. The programs are very simple. The animation is super simple. You can prototype and do animatics in just 2 days in a fantastic way, without all the hassle of doing a layout, or you can even do a layout in 3D. What's good about this? Well, first, you can work in a very simple way with very little, or with very easy learning curve. And also, as a director, what's good is that you put the goggles on and you're in the set. In the morning, I could draw a whole set with lines, with sketches, as I would do on paper. But then you put the goggles and you're inside the set. You can hear me? No, I'm really sorry, but the translation won't be able to follow if we don't hear him. Ah, okay, the translation, sorry. Oh, yeah. Wait.
Hola, hey.
Perfecto, Víctor.
Hey.
It's not. Yeah, can you hear me now? Can I move along if I use this? He's singing.
Es que a mí me dan un micro, me cago en la...
You give me a micro, oh my God, I'm lost. You won't get out of here now. No, I'm joking. So the thing is that it allows you to be inside the set, which is fantastic for a director. It's as if you go with the camera here and you think, well, this is great. I'm going to do it from here with the public here, there, and then we'll have a general shot from the up there, and you'll come in and down. And then you think, well, yes, but once you're in the set, you think, oh, well, but then the camera will come down, and then we'll go, and then we'll go all the way up. That's the wonderful thing that Quill can give you, is that you're in the set, and it's as if when Mary Poppins jumped into the cartoon world. Do you remember? Have you watched Mary Poppins? Yeah, well, I watched it when I was a kid and I thought, wow, how can you do that? I want to be in that world. I want to go into the cartoon world. So this is it. You get the goggles and you are like Mary Poppins. It's a world that you've created and you're in it. You do it quickly, and I've just killed this, sorry. I think I killed the projection. Did I hit something? I can't believe it. I don't know what I did. Oh, I was scared. Anyway, that's a good thing about the goggles. It's also very simple. I wanted to show you something else, which is another progress of the character, another evolution of the character. Do I have to go back? What am I doing? Do you understand why? Escape. Just hit escape.
Oye, ¿por qué no subís a quien ha manejado?
Why don't you just come and help me? You can guide this for me. Carlos. Come on, Carlos, come up. A big round of applause for my partner and my lifesaver, Mr. Carlos Achele. Okay. Oh, so much better, and it's so much easier, guys. Okay, so in Next Lab, we did lots of good things and many bad things. This character that you can see is the final result. Put the volume down, just in case I was saying, in case we were all fed up. Do you remember? So I could have been saying lots of swear words. Anyway, so as you can see, the interface is simple. And one of the problems that we had was that, wait. Put the other one, please. Let's compare it. JPG. So we started working with a character that I created in just an hour, or a couple of hours. It's this one on the left, who was just to get closer to the world of one and started working on this and seeing how we could get the character. But Quill has some good things and bad things. Good, you can prototype and create animatics in 2 minutes. You go inside this world. The program is simple, but it's complicated to delete. To light up, sorry, because it doesn't have a lighting system. So you have to paint with geometry the colors. And then you can take it to Red Seas or Unreal, and you can work on it. But I didn't like the look either. It used to be ugly. The biceps, the shoulders were not that good. I wanted it closer to the right. So I started researching, looking at tutorials, playing around with Quill to see how I could create a nicer model, more realistic. And I thought of doing a skin so that with lots of geometrical lines, we could turn it 90 degrees, we could flatten them up, then we could cross some on the other direction, and we had a bit of skin where you could paint in any colors and you can model it as if it was just paper. So that's how we created this character, which was wonderful. But the pity is that it was like 2,400 millions of polygons with vertex, so it was impossible to move it. You tried to animate it and it was like like that. I mean, something that you only needed to walk from here to here, and it was really difficult. People wanted to go, let's go play, and all he did was this. It was so heavy. And you think, whoa, what's happened? Come on, move on. And then he moved to another step and he got tired. So it was a pain. We were just a moment where we couldn't go back. So we called the organizers and we said, this has happened. We sent them the video. We sent them a very fun video to ask for forgiveness. And they said, well, Everyone does that, but what you've done is incredible. It's awesome. So we wanted to continue researching instead of doing so many polygons to do it smaller in order to work with quill in a more realistic manner. By the time was running out, and we thought, well, we're just going to leave it here, you know. And it's a really great program to use it to do other things, to create prototypes, to do great animatics. That's it. Let me put the making of, which is really funny. It's funny. Okay, so let's see how you work with the sequences. Then we'll show you the final video that we did, that we presented. So you can see that it's really great. But this is how we work with Quill, friends. So this is a loft below my house. We had to move the sofa. I had to go sideways. Here you can see on the small screen one of the reference frames I took. This is my dog. It's called Oye. Oye, that way everyone knows it. It means hey. And that's me. And what do you think? And don't I look super cute? Carlos to the camera. And I am doing the sequential frame that you'll see in a minute when the video finishes. And your hand has to be very steady also, like a French watchman, really, like a surgeon. Because, but anyway, it was marvelous. I needed space to move. So I am in the Amazon forest, yeah. And you put on the goggles and you're in it. And even though I created, I thought, oh my God, isn't it fantastic, didn't I? Yeah, I was in it and I was like, my God, isn't it great? I want to live there. So you could go on the branches, you could follow a firefly, anything. It was incredible. After suffering for a month and a half, 2 months, trying to learn how Quill worked and how Unreal worked, put the video if you want. And after giving up with Unreal, because it was like piloting a space shuttle, really, it was so difficult, Unreal. So I'm going to leave it here. I'm going to shut up so that you can enjoy the final result of what we did in Next Lab as a first approach to this, to one. We did this in 3 days, the whole forest with the ropes, with the leaves, with the branches, with everything. It's incredible. It's like painting in paper, but in 3D, with your brush.
Atención.
And here we have a character.
Este es el resultado.
So this is the final result. We got there and they said, obviously you can't put this on the real, there is no way to move it, so many polygons, but as a research is great. And they said, do a video because we're going to send it to the people of Quill so that they can see that there's other way of modeling. So we said that in a year's time, we'll go and analyze it again, and we haven't done it, have we? No, I'm not going to lie to you. We said we were going to do it in a year's time, but we thought, we didn't say what year we were going to do it. We just say 1 year. Don't go. Where are you going? I mean, do you want to sit? No, this you can you get that out? So once we went and we saw that how it worked and it didn't work for us, we decided that there was a lot of style, 80s. This guy with the look of the 80s, the male, had some problems. Yeah, this one. So whilst I tried to create the concepts, the characters, the sets, the props, lighting, references, I did the animatics, I drew the storyboard, because when you start with a project like this, you need to do most of it. I mean, there's 8 roles there, and you'll do them all. It's like, that's the life of a short movie. So whilst I was doing all this, it was Jorge with the teams, myself researching the Blender, until every time I go, they said, Jorge, do you think this could move this way and do this? And his answer was yes, but no. What does that mean? Sometimes he said no, impossible. Sometimes yeah, but it's really expensive and so impossible. Other times it was no, forget it. Other times yes, this is easy. And yes and no was like, yes, but I need 3 days to take to make sure I can. So he needed to research. And in the end he found, well, we found together a system that is quite great for this short movie with a visual aspect that we love. I don't know, Jorge, would you like to talk about the problems that came up?
Venga, sal un poquito a hablar. Venga, Jorge.
Come on, Jorge, come to the stage. Come and talk about the problems. One of the big problems we had was the grey pencil. Do you think, how can he be scared of talking in front of people? I mean, yes, I am. No, but hide under the seats for a minute so he feels comfortable. Sorry, just look a bit through the gaps in the seats, please. So, grey pencil, you can talk about the problem.
Bueno, paciencia conmigo, ¿vale?
Be patient with me. So we had to use grey pencil, which is you draw in 2D, but you can move it in a 3D space. This is in Blender, and in that way we can do a 3D geometrics for a character. Do you want me to show the video? That's why you did it, right? Yes, please, the video. Let's show the video. We were able to have Ana Martínez Lara with a crease pencil. He's one of the ones that develops the tool for Blender, so he works daily with grease pencil. So what a difference with that look. He said everything organized, fantastic, right? Okay, so Victor decided that he wanted a line on all the characters that was perfect, like a vectorial line, because it doesn't matter how much zoom you have, it'll never pixelate. And the light didn't respond, so even if it's very lit up or in dark, we're always going to have a perfect black line, which is what he wanted for his comic style that he liked so much. The problem was that we needed to make sure that this line could move just like the geometry of the character, sorry. And Victor thought, well, maybe we could have something. He thought of a line before they finished developing this tool. So when we had to do this, we were still missing 90% of the tools that you currently have now. We had pencil to draw in black and white, that was it. And with that, we had to draw 2 million dots, 2 to 4 million dots per character, okay? So that for each bone in his face, for instance, 40 in his face. Each bone was in control of a line, and then you have the cheek, for instance, controlled by different bones. So all of this took us 2-3 months of suffering, daily suffering. Obviously, because we spoke to Danny Marteral, we were telling him the problem, and he said, no, that doesn't exist. But I've heard that Blender going to have a new tool, but in 1.5 years time, it'll be in beta phase. Can you wait 1.5 years? And I thought, we can't wait 1.5 years if we're already on it. I mean, we're doing it. We have to go for it. Otherwise, we're going to have to throw it all to the bin. So Jorge found some certain solutions, and then when we told Danny, they were like, "Oh my God, you've managed to do that! I'm gonna tell Blender." Yes, I mean, we should invoice Blender for all the research we did for them. Yeah, and then we found other problems, not just that it was heavy, but Blender is advancing, but it had lighting problems with the grease pencil tool, because it's not to be used with 3D geometry and a 2D line, a 2D image, sorry. So we had an overlapping of the grease pencil with the 3D. So we had to go back to Danny Martinez Lara with a list of problems to see if we could find a solution. The solution he found was get the line out, take the line out of the character, but that was a hell to do that for all the characters for the whole short movie. It was impossible, also because then there is a gap that it could be cool for some styles, some projects, but we wanted it to be close to the geometry. We didn't want it to be out, right? So I don't know if you're familiarized with 3D. Instead of doing a final rendering, we decided to do a playback, which is the preliminary versions that you normally use to have a first version. But for some reason, these playbacks work well, but not in the final rendering. I don't know why. This is different with playbacks and without. So what did we do? Playbacks with as much quality as possible. And in the end, by doing that, it was like a rendering. So we had the same quality as rendering with playbacks, which meant that each frame of the short movie would only take a couple of minutes. Instead of doing a rendering, we realized that with Secless this problem was even greater. So we use iBuy, which uses less light resources, and the aspect that it gave us was enough for the look that we were aiming for the mood of one. And on top of that, we can solve the problem, because in the render we haven't calculated well the depth, and the line was always there. So the line that we suffered so much for, we had it, and the performance was much better. So in the end, after so many problems, the solution was better than what we had thought initially. Yeah. You know, when you're stressed out and you have a problem, when you find a solution, normally it's better than the solution that you thought you had before you got stressed out, which is was good about making trenches, you know, that you solve the problems. Another problem is that I wanted to have hair, because this is the prehistoric times, right? So these guys, you know, they are not going to shave, right? They're full of hair, really hairy. They had the clothes, the jacket, the skirts. Everything had hair. Everything, absolutely everything had hair on it. Even the garments. So we couldn't have someone well shaven. Well, it's not. It couldn't be like the typical gym guy that's fully shaved. No. Plus, I didn't want him to be like a guy that goes to the gym. I wanted it to be something tough and ugly looking. So Jorge, well, I told Jorge about it. He's thought about my family, but we wanted hair that was not too long either. It was no. We had already animated half of the short movie, and I said, "What about the hair?" And he went, "What about the hair?" And I said, "The hair?" And he went, "What about the hair?" Yes. So we had an anti-Victor armored system. I didn't know that. Oh, yes, we did. Between Carlos and myself, this was the fun. We had an anti-Victor armor system. Oh my God, you're killing me. So any change to the current character will be deployed throughout the whole story. So we updated it, and we were able to update it. I was really happy, because I like changing things a lot. I like to improvise a lot. Stop that, because I just thought this, that we can do things that in animation is something that is forbidden. That's why we have animatics that you have to follow, and that's it. Then there's the layout, and you can't do anything. Change after the layout. I didn't care. I did things which are very expensive. The Americans can do it because they are full of money, but we aren't. So I got really nervous until Jorge said, we have a system that if on the last day you decide that he has to have a blind eye, we can still do it. And I was like the happiest man alive. And that's what we did. So in the end, we had hair, because Jorge discovered in one of his overnight projects. I'm sure his girlfriend is here and she hates us. Yes, a little bit, obviously, yes, because she couldn't go out many times, so she had to go out on her own because he was doing this. But thanks to this, we have a marvelous short movie, and he found solutions like the hair. And the hair is like a system that already existed, right? I mean, it's not like we discovered the wheel. No. It's a mixture of the SCADs and old system that people use especially a lot in video games with something new that Blender got out, which is new curves for hair and procedural geometry. So we mixed up lots of styles, and we've used the solutions so that Victor could have what he wanted with a hair that is like a brush stroke, but without having to go again through the grease pencil, because that was real suffering. Yes, and he still moved quick. It wasn't too heavy. So this is the visual aspect that is not very costly. We thought it was profitable. Profitable, I mean, by when you try to sell a product or a feature film or to implement all the projects that we have. At least this was a system. I mean, it's always better when you're trying to sell a project to say, this costs 10, but you're going to do, it's going to cost you 7. Instead of saying 7, but then in the end it'll be 10. No, it's better to do it the other way around, right? So we have managed to reach this point where we are very proud of, and that's why we managed to finish the one short movie in a very successful way. And also, something else that we investigated on was working with Mocha. So I'm going to show you some videos too of how we work in mock-up. Nice round of applause for Jorge Villa, please. A lot of noise for him, please. Make noise. Oh, is it working? Is it not working? It got to a point where we were doing really bad with time. And we're talking to people and we're thinking, you know, someone said, why don't you talk to these people who work in mock-up? So I tried mock-up when I was with Mortadelo and Filemon in that project. For, well, just something that Fraser and we thought, what about if we do the mock-up and then you do Mortadelo and I'm Filemon and we can play around and you can record us? But no, in the end, no. The mock-up that existed at the time, that was 2015, was quite a bit like a robot. It was horrible. And then you had to fix too many things afterwards. So you spend a lot of time on and money on mock-up and then to redo it. So it's better to do it in 3D, the traditional 3D. So I left the mock-up there, but then I took it up again for this. And I thought, what about mock-up? What is mock-up? Has it advanced a lot? And now it's very well advanced. We spoke to a company that has a new mock-up system of optical capture, which raised by Monster, and we told them, we sat there, we said we come from this guy and this other guy, and they said, what do you want? And we said, well, we want to show you the short movie and see if you want to work with us. So we showed them the short movie, we told them everything that we had done in the past, and they liked it so much that they even partnered with us financially, right? They collaborated, and it was really lovely, and we were able to grow. But the mock-up is not cheap, it's expensive. What's good about mock-up? Two things. One, you can have basic animation really quickly. You have to clean it up a little bit, but not a lot, because it's quite clean already. And you have a basis for animation where you have certain movements, etc. Something good is that you don't have just a scene. Normally after animatics layout you have one scene, the one you've chosen, but with mockup you have 10 different scenes. Let me tell you, can you show them with the video? And then when you're there, I am directing not an actor, but really I'm directing my character. As you can see, here's the character, and in real time, alive with great quality, in real time, I can say, can you have to duck more, jump please, so you can guide your character, the character you've created. And even if you want, you can take it to a 3D environment, and you are seeing it in the environment of the forest that we had created. We didn't have time to take the jungle there, but anyway, so here's the character, and we were seeing, I could imagine it as special effects like boxes and things around. So we managed to have between 10 12 takes of each shot, which is fantastic because it gave me enough freedom, right? Wow, who's that handsome guy? That handsome guy there on the right, who was it? Anyway, so he gave me the opportunity, and here you have Moja dancing. The girl was one. This Moja, go for it. Look at it, go for it, go. So yeah, so it gave me the opportunity, like I said before, to be in the world. I had the opportunity to use a virtual camera and shoot next to the actor, just in case I wanted to do one take by manually. So it wasn't all in the program. I could have the virtual camera with a little photographic camera, and I could follow the actor, because I thought, whoa, what about if instead of going sideways, you can fall towards the camera, and I'm lying down. So there's so many things that you can do with animation, which is normally impossible to do in animation. So we really liked it for that mock-up. So we implemented it, and we also thought it would be great to do the facial movements. But the facial movements were done with another program that was different to this one, another type of capture.
And that program, unfortunately, has now crashed due to the Blender version that we had. Well, actually, with Blender, it doesn't work with Blender. And it forced us to try and find solutions once again. So Jorge had to research how to solve it, and in the end we said, well, forget about it, we'll do it by hand. So all of the facials, we did them by hand, and we forgot about doing a mock-up for them. So after that, there's not much I can tell you about it, because I think I've run out of time. I think we need to have some time for Q&A. So no. Two things. First, how can we go to the end of the presentation? There. I wanted to let you know that during this whole year, since we have suffered quite a bit and we have lots of gray hairs due to this, and we have lost many years of life to finish this short, we were praying to our patron saint, Saint One, the patron saint for solutions to problems, and the salvation patron saint. So we were praying to him. We were all praying to Saint One. And if you don't have any gods, please pray to this one, because we're doing very badly. So from the first day until yesterday, it's been a hardship, but we made it. So when you watch the short, I want you to have this face, the one that one has, and when you watch it, we want you to be as thrilled and happy as he looks here. So what I said previously, what we have to do is work, and work. From 7 in the morning till 12 at night. So artists are called selfish, but it's not because we're selfish. We're not bad people. But the thing is, when you get into your project, you become engulfed in your word, and you forget absolutely everything. You forget to eat, you forget to do anything. So I'm just shaking and drawing, and you say, oh, what's happening to me? Oh, yeah, I need to go pee. So it seems that I'm selfish, and I'm sure you have gone through things like that. You never go out, you never do anything. Well, but the thing is, the better plan is to draw and to create things such as this. So I hope that the muses, when they get to you, they get you while working. And if you want to talk to us and ask things, and you want to talk about anything else, here you have our cell phone. And you know, in animation, is not like football. We don't have any ego. We are here to get a project, and everything I know, I share it with you, as others have shared it with me. And I cannot show the short now. I'm just going to share the teaser now, because obviously we got the award for the best short at Medina del Campo, and we need to premiere in March 24th. So I cannot show the short, but I can show the teaser, which is an amuse-bouche of what we will be seeing later on. So here goes. Accept. There you go. And play, obviously.
Joder. No, si ves, si es que yo no miento. Que no valgo.
I'm not good for this, am I? It'd be great if I could have a full screen for my teaser, wouldn't it?
Ahí estás.
There you go.
Gran Carlos, a los mandos. Bueno, y ahora...
Okay, and now, if you have any questions or if you want to talk to us or buy us coffee, well, this is the time to say so. As you can see, Víctor and Ottom never disappoint. Fantastic, that was fantastic. So, any questions? I don't know how much time we have, but I'm sure that we can answer a few questions. Let me just give you the microphone because I'm sure you don't want to ask me any questions because technology is not my thing. Okay. Where? Do you have a microphone? Okay, good. Thank you. Hello. Thank you. What really caught my eye was the 1D. What did you refer to? Lines? Could you please explain what 1D? Because I have never heard anyone talk about 1D. Of course you have never heard that because we invented it. No, I mean, a few years ago I was the art director for Goma Espuma, Guillermo Fesser and Juan Luis Cano. Our Goma Espuma and I traveled to China during the Olympic Games in 2008, and we needed to take a shot of a wheat field. And you know the circles that extraterrestrials do in corn, but we had to do the same thing, but with the Atlético de Madrid coat of arms. And they said, no, you can do it in 3D. And I said, what? I'm going to do a whole wheat field for something that is never going to be shown, only for you in midnight. So I decided to do a macro image at high res of a perspective, an air perspective of a wheat field, and I, with Photoshop, I did that coat of arms by hand, and then in a closed shot, I would look at that photography, and I flew on top of it, and I would go back and forth with the sound of a helicopter, and it looked like it was a real shot. So with these tricks, and it looked great. And when we were creating the short film, we have used 3D, but we've also done part in 2D and then a part in 1D. So what is 1D? The simple? No, obviously the bear fight, because how can you do a bear fight in 2D in a cheap way? So we thought this is the moment for us to use 1D. So basically it's just huge illustrations that I created by drawing on them, and these illustrations by layers are the ones that allow us to move here and there with a very dynamic way of working, very manga. It's like a video clip within the short film. You will see it whenever it's premiered, but within the short is like a small video clip. It's crazy one with amazing tension, with crazy music, and with a very dynamic editing, with colors as well, very different colors to the ones in the short, and with a very dynamic editing, where the camera movement on top of the illustration, not just the editing, but also with perspective and so on. So, and it's amazing. It looks amazing. So this is a language that we're going to be using constantly. Every time you have D-Day in a movie, that's how we will do it. You've seen some images, I'm sure. I don't know if you saw some images. Oh, no, they're not there. Okay, they were there, but we didn't show them. Well, there are some images. I can show them to you later on if you want. And this guy in white, I think he wanted to ask a question as well. Thank you so much for this conference. It was very, very fun. Yes, obviously, maybe not interesting, but fun. I've always been a fan of your collaborations with Fesser, the Aniceto Calceto books, which is not valued enough. I think the same thing you do. And Mortadelo y Filemon's movie, because I have seen it 25 times. I think it's one of the greatest comedies. It really cracks me up. And I know that in that movie you did one of the voices. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. And I wanted to ask you if you could say one of the sentences. But what do you want me to say? I could maybe put my fist up your ass and then take your tongue and pull it out. I don't know. I mean, if you want to be my friend, then I'll stop. Okay, thank you so much. Yes, obviously. I already told you that because I have lots of different skills. I've been an actor. I am an actor, obviously. There are things that you cannot stop being. I had a band for 25 years, so I do so many things that in the end I am jack of many trades, aren't I? So I do so many things that I know how to do all of these things. And in the movie I did, and in one, all of the voices, even the hyena is my voice, and the birds as well. There are some birds that I recorded, and they do this. because half of my year I live in India, and when I got to India, when I got married, she said, "Come to India. It's a quiet place, a Zen place." And I got into bed the first night, and when I closed my eyes at 2 a.m., I heard this bird going, "Tranquilo, tranquilo," and he said, "Is he saying tranquilo, like calm down?" No, what do you mean calm down? What I want to do is sleep. When is this bird going to shut up? Leave me alone. You'll get used to it. And then there was this bird that said that. And it would go up and up and up as though it was going to explode. And I was afraid in bed thinking, what is this? And then it would. And when it stops, it says, "Míralo, míralo, míralo." And I said, are you laughing at me? The bird is laughing at me. Look at him, míralo, míralo, look at him, as though he cannot sleep. So in one, we needed to show that bird, and since we couldn't catch the sound, because you couldn't be at 3 a.m. in India recording the voice, I decided to do it. So I am one, I am Moja, I did the music, and what else? The bird, the hyena as well, because we're talking about a hyena. As you can see, there is a hyena in the short. It's not your typical African hyena. It's a hyena that looks like a bull. It's a 300-kilogram hyena, so it couldn't just go it needed to have a different sound. So we thought, what can we do? So we took a classical dragon sound with hyena and my voice that says so chaotic. It's all chaotic.
Algún día que pueda contratar.
So when I have money, I will be hiring professionals to do all of those things.
¿Alguna pregunta más?
Any other questions? Any other questions?
Está levantando la mano el técnico de sonido.
The sound technician has actually raised his hand, I think. 3, 2, 1. Sold. Thank you so much for coming. And I hope that you can learn something from all of the things we have said. And if it is useful, if you want to ask any questions, if you want to work with us, if you want to tell us a story or ask us how we've done this or that, you have our phone numbers there and we will be happy to help you. So as we said, we want to help you as people have helped us so that you can then help those coming after you. So thank you all so much, and strength and honor.
Bueno, pues,
Okay, so there isn't much more to add. Thank you so much for being here at the Academy of Cinema, the Academia de Cine, or for following along, because I know that many people have been watching the streaming, and we will see you in 2024 during Animation Day. Thank you very much.
Muchas gracias, Víctor.
Thank you so much, Victor. I am sure that our interpreters are going to be dreaming of you tonight. Yes, nightmares. So a big round of applause for our interpreters.
A nuestro equipo de streaming.
For our streaming team who are here every day with us. And I wanted to thank you all for being here, and I wanted to tell you that the Best Annecy short films will start at 7:45. And a big round of applause for Elena as well.